Hey guys, we are down here in our Florida fixer-upper, and we have been here for a minute, and it's about time for us to go home. We're leaving tonight. So I thought I'd go ahead and do an update video for you and show you all the things that we accomplished on this particular trip. This one was a little bit longer than normal trip, so we got quite a bit done. Never as much as what I want to, but man, the changes. It is so dramatic. When we first got here, we were living on plywood for a while. We still had electrical to do. We had no baseboards, no door trim, some paint that still needed done. The door handles were the old door handles, mix and match and dirty and brown. And so we have done a lot. So one of the biggest changes is this flooring. Look at this flooring. We have floors, real floors. Oh my God, this stuff is so amazing. And I've put this flooring in before, but for whatever reason this time, I screwed it up. So I had to have my neighbor come over who's done all kinds of stuff. And I told him, I said, I've done it before, but I could not get this to lock together. So he showed me how. I had to take the living room apart and start from scratch. So that was not a fun day, but now it is right, and I'm thankful. We have all new baseboards in and door trim. Look at that. Joe argued with me about the door trim because this is what we had. This little tiny, it's rounded on the edge door trim. This was what we had throughout the house. It's like 2 inches wide and it has this bizarre round edge and it looks like it's 1950s and cheap. It's not so cheap. But beyond that, it did not go with the baseboards that I wanted because I wanted 4-inch baseboards that was crisp white. And in order to do that rounded edge door trim, it didn't match up. It didn't look right. It looked like a cluster and looked like we had no clue. And I argued my point heavily that we need a new door trim. And eventually we're going to do trim around the windows on the interior, the same as the doors. And I think that it'll brighten it up and make it just look a little bit nicer for very little extra money. But this door trim, we went with 3-inch and it's just a 1x, but it really does make a dramatic difference. And then of course we have the 1x4 down there at the base, and we don't have it done throughout yet, but we have a lot of it done and it just looks so good. I still have some caulking and some touch-up paint work to do around it, but man, what a difference. Something so minor could make such a big difference. And then one of the things that Joe likes is we were trying to figure out, obviously when you're putting in laminate, you have to have a little bit of a gap because the floors will move. And if you don't have the gap, it's going to buckle. So we had the little bit of a gap over here at the door and trying to figure out how can we dress up that gap. And I said, why don't we just take a quarter round and paint it black, because the slider is a super dark brown, almost black. Well, the quarter round literally disappears. You don't even know it's there, and it's not even attached. It's just floating right there. So what a great way to hide that gap. But Joe changed out all of the switches and electrical. He started it before, but he finally got it all finalized on this trip. And that was a cash-ectomy, but well worth it. Otherwise, then you have those old shitty outlets and switches that just look like crap all the time. But we got all new furniture. We were supposed to have new chairs over there, but I had been ordering everything through Amazon, and of course everything looks amazing. And Joe talked me into trying AliExpress.
Fail.
AliExpress can kiss my ass. We ordered a grill through AliExpress. They kept our money for like 10 to 14 days, something like that, and then canceled the order. So they're living off of people's interest, basically, is what's happening, because they take your money immediately, knowing that they do not have the product, and then they cancel after so long a time. You do that to a few million people, you got a pretty good income. So anyhow, they did that on the grill. They did that on a bath vanity. Then I reordered a bath vanity through a different vendor through AliExpress, had the same exact thing happen. And then I also ordered our 2 living room chairs through AliExpress. And it shows that it was shipped a fucking long time ago. So now they didn't want to have to return my money. So they're pretending like it's shipped and they're sending me emails saying, oh, well, you know, shipping is slow. Well, I don't know. It doesn't take that long to ship across the country. If they were in California and we're in Florida, it still would not take that long. So that is some scamming shit. So I would not recommend AliExpress to anybody, but I've had no problems with Amazon. So let's continue the tour. So once again, we went ahead and did the baseboards and everything, and we got our little TV stand and a TV for down here because this was an extended trip. And check out this little pot that I got yesterday. I love the Mexican pottery. Oh my God. And there's a shop down here that has so much. It was hard to choose. But I thought that's super cute, and I can put maybe like a fake fern because I'm not here all the time, so I can't water plants. But I could put something that's like a fake fern in there and it would look really cute. Moving on. So we're going to put quarter round in front of all of the baseboards, but I haven't quite decided yet if I want to do that because it looks so clean and so perfect the way that it is. I don't know that I want that quarter round. So the floor in the dining room still looks absolutely incredible. There's our table that we got from Habitat for Humanity Restore, and got it for 75 bucks. It has a leaf that's underneath our bed. I love that table. Still haven't done the fabric seats yet, but that'll be later. This table here, it had the little chairs that went with it, and it was over here in our little dinette area. But I thought, you know, that's the perfect size for here. So anyway, we got that little heron guy right there and put him up. And then we've got our Wi-Fi stuff underneath the basket, underneath the table, unless I tell you it's not even super obvious. And then this is the china cabinet that was in our living room. And we still wanted to have a place to store stuff or, you know, have something pretty. This is all the decorations that they had in the house when we bought the house. So this is not my taste, but I have not picked out anything yet. So that's what we're going with. You can see we're getting ready to leave. All of our suitcases are packed. So we changed out ceiling fans in both this dining area and the kitchen. The kitchen was done before this trip, but I'm not sure that I had anything to indicate that it was done. And then Joe changed out that little light above the sink. We still have not gotten to the countertops. That's probably the next trip that we'll be replacing the countertops because they have fallen. You can tell over here because the backsplash that I put in, look how it looks. And if I go back like this, I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but it has fallen and it's just crap. So it needs to be replaced. Plus, before we bought the place, they broke the countertop. I don't know if you can tell on this. They broke the countertop, and so unfortunately it had to be replaced anyway. It wasn't something that we was going to do right away, but it's still going to have to be done now anyway. And let's see, what else? More baseboards, more door trim. I've got our trash can sitting there because we need to empty it before we leave. I don't want to leave trash sitting underneath the sink and then come walking in the house on our next trip and gag. And here's something that has been a controversial subject. So obviously we don't have the baseboards done over there yet or over here. This is kind of where we stopped. So my transition strip that I wanted to do. So all of my lines, they line up really good. And my neighbor argued with me really bad, and he wasn't wrong. But anyway, he said, you should do it up to here with the flooring and then come around here to the door and come around, and then it would line up and you could go ahead and do the last of the stripes. I did it for a couple reasons. One being, if we had a problem, it's a lot easier to fix if you've only got a chunk that you've got to take out instead of half the floor. But beyond that, because of the fact that we've got a door going crossways, I wanted something kind of like when people do it with tile. They take tile and they put it across, and everybody has kind of argued with me that they wasn't really sure that this was going to be a good idea. I don't know that it was a great idea, but I love it. And yeah, to me, it looks amazing. We still don't have the trim going around the door yet. We took a chisel to all of these because the trim went down here because the baseboards were tiny. But this is much thicker, so we took a chisel to this and cut it up higher, and that way then that will go down right to the baseboard. You can see how it's doing there. So that piece is in there kind of temporary. It's not been finalized yet. We just worked on that a little bit today, but we're getting ready to leave. So this one over here hasn't been done at all yet. The mirror got broken when they were putting in the new plywood floors, but I mean, the mirrors are pretty 1980 anyway, but I will just leave them there for now until we decide to do something different. But anyway, I like my little transition strip. And in fact, I'm going to do the same thing down here. Going into the bathroom and into our bedroom, I want to do the same transition strip. Going into the spare bedroom, we're not going to do a transition. We're just going to go straight on through. But this is our spare bedroom. We never did get to the ceiling fan in here yet. But we had painted and everything. We did that before. And got that china cabinet out of here. It went to the trash and somebody garbage picked it within minutes. Oh, and then that sleeper sofa that was there, Joe had to cut it with a saw. Had to cut the back off because all the doors were 30 inches and we couldn't squeeze it through. So he had to cut it off with a saw, and we put it out on the curb and it went bye-bye. So Joe replaced our light in the hallway. It was just a contractor light from when the place was built. So I bought that cute little light because it goes with the furniture in the living room and everything, and kind of goes with the nickel look. Now the hall bath, I did paint it. Of course, it's still got some rough going on, but it is what it is. It's an older bathroom. We're not going to get rid of the tub. I have not figured out about the surround. We might put a new surround in. We put in a new shower head, and then we put one of those curved shower rods. And then down below, that's an access panel. So we can't really eliminate it. So we're going to build a panel that has a frame around it and the cross piece in it, the X, just like what's on the furniture and the light fixture and stuff. And I'm going to paint it white, and it's just going to basically be set on there. But you won't know that it's set on there. It'll look permanent. But that will disguise the access panel and make it look way better. Now the toilet is going to be replaced, but we don't want to do that until we have the new vanity that's been canceled twice. Because once that comes out, then I'll go ahead and do the floor first. Then we'll put the stool in, then the vanity. Now we did go ahead and replace the medicine cabinet with one that had the light. I wanted to go with a bigger one, but I couldn't because of the sconces. Love those sconces, aren't those pretty? And we put in the Edison bulbs in the sconces and then also here in the hallway just because it's kind of pretty. They're expensive though. But nice little vanity, a little bit of room for stuff. And then I hung up this towel rack. So that's kind of nice, give it a little bit of extra oomph, but I mean, there's no storage in here, so we needed something, and that actually looks halfway decent. So now let's go into our room. We didn't really do, I don't think we did anything in here this time. The light, we was going to change out the ceiling fan and put the same one as what's in the dining area, but we ran out of time, and that's what it is. But we did put up this cute sign, no wake zone. Joe framed it. I kept looking for a frame for the right size, and they wanted like $160 or something idiotic. So Joe just took some of the boards that we used for door trim and put it together, and I haven't painted it yet. So that's a future thing. And then we replaced our bed. Once again, we've got our stuff sitting because we're getting ready to leave. So we painted the bed, So we replaced the bed, and I really, really like this bed style. And it's got this underneath where it rolls, and it's a Velcro, and it's got all the boards that go across the little slats. And our bed is said to hold 1,500 pounds. Well, thankfully, we're not that. But it's pretty nice, and we no longer have that bed that falls down in the middle of the night and throws me out. Right now, we've got stuff that's going to be stored in our room just because Joe's concerned about rust if it was stored out in our shed. And then in our bathroom, I did some of the painting in here just so that it would have a little bit of a nicer feel. And I got that picture because that's super cute. And I've got the towel rack. And one thing that I did, anybody who has contacts or does makeup, or you've got an eyelash in your eye, a zoom mirror, you need a zoom mirror. Hung up the towel bar, and I got myself one of these hanging blow dryers. My daughter-in-law always laughs at me for having those because they're like what you see in a hotel room, and I said that's because they're convenient. I don't have to sit and screw around with it. But we still have the old vanity in here, and that will all be done on a different trip. Our bathroom will probably end up being the last thing that gets done. Of course, Joe changed out all of the hardware and put in these really nice handles that's like, I don't know if they call it a handicap handle or whatever, but I'll tell you what, if you got your hands full, that's pretty nice. And then in here, one day I got annoyed because it was so dark in here. There was no paint. And I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and paint it. So I painted it a light gray, and eventually we'll get to the floor in here as well. But at least it's nice and bright in here. We put up a little storage container for just stuff. And it's just a cheapo, but that's all we need. Didn't need anything too fancy, didn't need anything too big. And you can see he's taken the door trim off because we intended on doing the baseboard. And so the baseboard needed to come up and the door trim needed to come down. We needed to know exactly where it came. But once again, we just ran out of time. For anyone who may have seen, maybe you didn't see the original video when I was talking about the improvements that we've done. This is actually an Amazon peel and stick backsplash. It looks like glass, but we had paneling for walls. We did not have drywall or anything like that, so I had to come up with something that was going to work a little bit better. And that works for our situation, but it looks absolutely incredible. I love it. It is so pretty. And eventually I will get to over here, but I don't want to do that yet because we will likely replace this built-in and put like 3 sets of drawers in here and then raise this cabinet up because it's so low. And I am not a petite, short person, so it is way too low. So that's probably a future consideration, not like huge on the important list. And then one of the major improvements we had done was we had our roof resealed. And I always thought we just had a membrane roof. We did not go up there, so I did not know. But he said, no, we actually have a metal roof, and then there's a membrane over the top of that, and he sealed that. So it looks amazing now. It is bright white, and it looked really bad before, and I was really worried about it. And we're going to be having the exterior power wash probably in a few weeks. We may or may not be here when that gets done, but my guess is we probably won't be here during that time. Our neighbor's going to do it for us. And then at some point, we're actually going to start painting the exterior. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've done. We've replaced some blinds. I can't think if there's anything else. We did enjoy some of our time down here. We did some Disney time. We went to Apollo Beach, which is south of Tampa. It's not an actual beach. Apollo Beach is the name of the town. And we actually went and seen the manatee come in to the power plant that's down there. And oh my God, that's so adorable. You could see the babies and stuff with the moms, and super, super cute. I tried to get video of it, but they were far enough out that it really didn't show up as anything. So unfortunately, I wasn't really able to do a video on it. but that was a highlight of the trip for sure. We've done some running around, got a little bit used to the town, a few trips to Orlando. For those of you who know, we are just outside of Orlando. I don't say where on the videos because this is too big of a platform to say things like that. But anyhow, we are just outside of the Orlando area, and it's super nice down here. Man, it's beautiful. We have parrots that come across the street every single day. Twice a day they come and they land on the power line across the street from us and squawk, and there's about 14 of them. So that's fun to see. And there's just so much. I mean, we have enjoyed this trip so much. It's hard for me to go home, but it is time to get back to life so that I can pay for the next one. It's been fun showing you guys all the improvements that we're doing and everything. This is a huge deal to us. This has been a dream of Joe's for years and years and years. And I have been kind of against it for a long time, but I'm kind of obsessed with this place. I love mobile homes. I don't know why I love mobile homes so much, but I do. And so it's fun to be able to come down here and visit and be so close to the parks that we can just drive on over to the parks and enjoy it and do a little bit of sightseeing here and there. And there's a few other places that I have on a wish list that we just did not get to because we were working the majority of the time. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe and ring bell notifications so you don't miss out on the latest and greatest. Also, please don't forget to check out some of our other great videos we have on the parks, the rides, resorts, resort rooms, Skyliner rides, day trips, car shows, outdoor pizza oven videos, Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Disney World. Thank you so much for watching.